So welcome back to Charity series. I believe so that I haven't made a lot of videos lately, but this is one of the most requested videos from my students because they wanted to really know how to add bibliography in their research paper, especially using APA or IEEE, and also doing the paging of their research with regards to putting headings and everything else, and also putting captions on tables, figures, and exhibits. So let me give you a very simple demonstration on how to do it, and it's very, very easy. So let's just use this paper. This is actually my thesis paper on MIE 602 for my project defense, but this is not complete, so that I will not be able to like share for data privacy purposes of the paper. But basically the first page or the cover page should have no page, right? And of course you have abstract and the list of tables, list of figures, the table of contents, and all that should have a paging of Roman numerals, right? And the once you start already with your chapter 1, it should already be in numbers. Okay, so let me teach you how to do that. But let's start first with the paging. So the technique, guys, is that you have to click here, double click, and then you can usually the original is that it is unchecked. So more likely when you add already a page, so you go to insert page. All right, insert, and then page number. So when you go to the page number, usually we put that in the bottom of the page. So it's either naka-plain lang siya or plain number 1 and so on. But here, since naka-design man gud siya, because this was originally designed in a Roman numeral. Usually, if it's not in Roman numeral, the tendency is, so we can just highlight that and then format page numbers. Usually, it's in this one, right? This is the usual paging that we have when we start doing the paging. So what you have to do is you just have to double click that one, highlight, and then left click, you go, right click rather, you go to format page numbers, and then you change the number format into Roman numerals, and then you start at, of course, 1. Okay, but of course the cover page doesn't have to have a page. So if that's the case, what you're going to do is just click here, from the header and footer, you just click the different first page. There you go. So automatically the first page is empty. And the second page will proceed with number 2 for your abstract and so on and so forth. Now, of course, when we put a table of contents, we have to have correct paging, right? So for the correct paging, syempre, the list of tables, the figures, the exhibits are in Roman numerals. But for your chapter 1, usually it should be in numbers. Now, how did this happen when this one is 6, but it's already in Roman numerals? So what I did in order to do that, just have to click the next page. So for example, here, you click here. There, you just have to go to this, you have to go to here, layout. So when you go to layout, you click page break so that it breaks when you create a new page, then it will start a new number or a new page. So just click next page. Actually, you can do a next page for that. So in that case, this one is already in Roman numerals. So for example, when you delete that, okay, for example, when you delete that, then you click next page. Okay, the next page is already in your in numbers. So in order to start with number 1, because in chapter 1 we start with number 1, right? So you just highlight that, right click again, format page numbers, and then you click now the Roman number, the numbers, and then you start at 1. So therefore, it will start at 1. And the previous numbers will be 7 up to Roman numeral 6. So that's page 6. Now, if you go now to bibliography, so let's just say, for example, this is already bibliography. So you click again next page. So you go to layout, next page. So the next page will now become, it will start again at 1. So since the last number in the list of exhibits is 6, so this should be 7, right? So you just right click, format page numbers, and you start with 7. But again, that should go back to Roman numerals. Okay, so it will proceed, so on and so forth. Now, how do we go about with, so that's just how easy the paging is. Now, for the table of contents and the paging and everything else, we just have to put correct heading, guys. So for example, here in this abstract, I placed that as heading 3, but we can put that as heading 1. So for the general parts of your paper, you can put that as your heading 1. Now you can design your heading 1, so you can modify that, and then you can change the color to automatic black, bold, and then let's say this is Arial, center, sorry, there should be no gap, and then center, and then we click that automatically update. So only on this document or new documents, it depends on you, no? Then okay. So therefore, the abstract now is your heading 1. So if you wish to have list of tables, so for example, here in your page 3, you will have to put table of contents. So table of contents. So for your table of contents, you want that to be also in heading 1. So it will follow the format. So that is how you do the paging. So for example, here also for the list of figures, just click that. You go to, here you go to home, and then you click heading 1. You just use heading 2 if it's like a subdivision of the heading 1. So like for example, chapter 1, like here, no? So here, this is still heading 1. And then another, and then here, heading 1 na siya. Now here, this is like a subheading. So we do not put that as heading 1. So we can use that as heading 2. So the heading 2 will now follow 1.1, 1.2, 2.1, 2.2, no? So that when you put in the table of contents, it's correct already. It starts with 1. Then, for example, you want to add a, okay, so let me show you my paper so that you can have a clear grasp of how it is done. So like for instance here, no, let's say this table is empty. So let's delete this. Let's delete the table of contents. So everything is correctly placed already with the paging and all. So to add the table of contents, you just go to references, and then you insert here, table of contents on the first part, table of contents. Then just follow whatever is important or best. Okay, so that's the table of contents because you have already placed correctly the headers. So the technique there is the headers, guys. Okay, so in this case, since you want that the contents will follow heading 1, so that's gonna follow heading 1, or pwede put heading 2. It depends on you, but I suggest actually it's heading 1. So you can just change that into table of contents. And then, as you noticed in the list of tables, since it was moved, no, due to the changes in the spacing, you can update your table of contents. So just click there, update table, either the entire table or just the page numbers. So maybe just the page numbers because, diba, you notice list of tables is 3, but it should have been in 4. So it will just change. In 5 na pala. So it will just change. Okay. So what else? Now for the list of tables, like for example here, how did I do the list of tables? So to do that, let's go back to the example. So let's just say, no, in this chapter, you have an exhibit. By the way, what's the difference between exhibit, table, and figures? If tables, obviously it's in a tabular form. If it's exhibit, basically it's a photo from Google or from something or from the company manual that you have taken a photo of and then added that in your paper. But it is a figure if you are the one who made that. In this case, technically, if I were the one to make this one, I could have added that as a figure. However, I just got that from a source. Therefore, it becomes an exhibit. So again, an exhibit is something that is already available, a photo, you just added it. It becomes a figure if you were the one who made that one. For example, a flow diagram, a cause and effect diagram, so on and so forth. So in this case, this is already an exhibit. So what you're gonna do so that you have the right naming of the exhibit. So for example, I'm gonna delete that one. Okay. So you just go to references again and then insert caption. Now you choose first if it's figure, if it's exhibit, table, or equation. In this case, this is an exhibit. So you just write the caption there and then okay. Then it will now give you the list of exhibits. So let me show you in my paper. So in my paper, this is, for example, no, here, I'll just delete everything. So I have already a list of tables in the entire paper. So to add the list of tables, you just go again to references and then insert table of figures, but you change the caption label into tables instead of figures or exhibit because that part is list of tables. And then okay. Everything will just show there because you have named them. Now, let's say you had some rearrangements with the positioning of the table and where it was placed. The list of tables will automatically change right away. So you don't need to count again. No? We had this problem when we were in my undergraduate studies when I was in college because this feature was not available in the old MS word yet. So what happened is we really had to write everything down in a paper. And then once we do interchange a lot, sometimes the table numbers are changed from time to time. But in this case, everything is done correctly. Okay, so as you can see, everything is good. Now I'll give you a photo of how it is when it's already in PDF file. Okay, so let me share what if it is in PDF file. So let me share that. This is the PDF file. So as you can see, this is the complete paper now. Then when you go to, for example, in table of contents, you want to check the company background. So you just click, it will go directly to the company background. Or for example, let's say you want to look at the results. So let's say here in the statistical results, so you just click that one, it will directly lead you to the statistical results. Same goes with your list of tables. So for instance, you want to go to the list of tables. Okay, here. So you want to check list of figures. So let's say this one. I made this one man, so that's why this is considered a figure. Then another figure. This is figure 3 because I also made this general process for the semi-refined carrageenan powder. So again, this is not a table. This is like a figure because I just made that into a figure. It's not a table. And then here, this is another table. Okay, then there's a name for that because of the references when I inserted some captions. Okay, now how do we go about with bibliography? So for the bibliography, guys, I'll just share again my example word. So for example here, you have this source from a certain author or from a website. So if that's the case, guys, just have to let's delete that. We go to insert citation. So that's for bibliography. So once you get that, that is a nice word to be added in your rationale or in your theoretical background. Just put insertation. Make sure that it's either naka-APA for non-engineering. Then for engineering, it's IEEE. So you just go to insert citation and then add a new source. And then let's say this is from a book section, a journal article, so on and so forth. But if let's say this is the most common now from a website, so just click the author. So for example, the author, I'm gonna share my entire screen so that we can see no from the perspective. So let's say you got this information from this website. Okay, so this is from information brief on water and energy sustainability. So for example, you got the information from here and then you don't know who the author is, but you know that this is from United Nations. So you just go back to your Word file and then maybe just put the production company as United Nations organization, right? And then when did they publish it? So you kind of check that. That's 2014, right? That's 2014. So you just put 2014. You have no month and day. Let's say you access this one today. So 2021, and then June, and then 11, and now you put the URL. So you put now the link. Okay, and then good to go. So they put that as 3. Now, I think because it comes as the third source, no? Now, in that case, guys, what you're gonna do is you just, if it's already part of your appendices, of course, we did already a next page here. So let's say this is your bibliography, but you don't need to write that anymore because it can be added directly. You just click the bibliography and then click this one. And ta-da, everything is already in IEEE. So as you notice, number 3, United Nations 2014, you access that online, available from UN.org, Water for Life Decade PDF, Sustainable, blah, 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 access June 11. So you don't need to like stress yourself and go to a website and write your bibliography. It's already available in MS Word. So when we go back to my final paper, when we go directly to bibliography here, so for example here, bibliography, so it's already detailed out, everything is there, and then the appendices is also there. Okay, and you notice that it's a continuation from the Roman numeral page from after list of exhibits. And of course, your questions, your data, all that in the appendices and your curriculum vitae. So that is how you're gonna do paging. So again, it's very simple. When let's reiterate, let's go back to the original. The technique for paging is that your headers are correctly placed because that dictates your table of contents. Your captions are also correct. You just go to references. You just choose if it's figures, table, or exhibit, or equation. And then for your bibliography, it's another, from the references, you just put insert citation per part that you add in your paper. And then once everything is complete, you just click the bibliography and build it in. Then for your table of contents, the same, still in the references, you just have to, okay, we did not place that. For the table of contents, so let's just give this an example. You insert here, and then all of the pages will just show there. So since our paper is just up to rational, no? But as you can see, if it's in heading 2, it indents itself. Okay, so it just follows everything according to your design in the heading. So that's just the technique in doing the paging, and you're good to go. Your paper will now be correctly done. Thank you so much for listening, and see you in my next videos. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, especially for those who are struggling with doing research. Thank you, guys. Bye.